Welcome to Failure is Progress, presented by Sweat Factory CrossFit. I am Coach Frankie Ortega.
And I am Coach Keith Barber. Join us today as we discuss everything going on inside the CrossFit space and, more importantly, what new and exciting things are happening in our Sweat Factory CrossFit gyms.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate the support and truly enjoy the feedback we've been receiving from all of you.
Please reach out through our DMs on Instagram. If you aren't already following us, please do so at Failure is Progress, all lowercase. And now, on to today's episode.
Welcome to episode 19 of Failure is Progress. 19, what an odd number.
Yeah, it's one away from 20. But
can't believe we've already got 19 in the bag now. Well, it'll be 19 when we're done with this one.
Yeah.
But a couple announcements for everyone. We have our gymnastics clinic February 10th at 9 a.m. Sweat Factory CrossFit Claremont, hosted by the one and only Coach Keith Barber, our resident L3. I like calling you that. I'm going to start calling you L3. I'm just going to change your name. Are you excited for it, man?
I am. There's some things that I'm going to try and switch up to try and provide more value to the people that come. I've done gymnastics seminars in the past. I think they've been run well, but I think I could do even better and really try and deliver what the people are looking for. I always try to insert my own agenda into these gymnastics seminars. And although I think they go well, some things just kind of get missed because I can be pretty dogmatic in my approach to gymnastics sometimes. So I'm going to try and give the people what they want. I've gotten some good feedback. So
you heard it here first. He is now going to be the people's coach. I love it. I love it, man. All right, brother. Any other announcements we got going on? I know the Open is coming up.
Yes,
that'll be at the end of February, I believe February 29th.
Yeah.
And we do have our shirt pre-order website form thing up and running. I think there's about 4 or 5 days left on that. So if you haven't ordered your shirts, make sure you order those. They look sick. Shout out to Coach Barry for designing those. They look fantastic.
They really do look dope. And I was debating on whether or not I was going to get the Sweat Factory one or the one from CrossFit HQ. And then I saw the one from CrossFit HQ, and it was a no-brainer. I'm definitely getting the Sweat Factory one. For real. The Sweat Factory one blows that one out of the water by a lot.
I like it. I like the color scheme. It's got a little Waterpalooza color scheme going, which, you know, being from Miami, I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely got that Miami vibe to it.
For sure. All right, let's get into today's episode. So today's episode, we are talking about the effects of CrossFit or the effects of Sweat Factory CrossFit on us outside of the gym, right? It is pretty well documented that we hold classes for an hour and there are 24 hours in a day. So how does it affect the other 23 hours? For me personally, it's been a huge shift in my life to join these 1 hour classes every day. The other 23 hours are so much different ever since I joined not just CrossFit, but Sweat Factory. The culture that we have in our gyms, the people, the motivations that we feel, the differences that we get in our physicality and our mentality is huge for me. And I can't be more grateful. It's one of the reasons why I became a coach, because I just kind of want to pay it forward. I'm that ecstatic about how my life has changed through this. How is it for you, Keith? 23 hours out of your day. How does that 1 hour in the gym? I'm just messing. I know you're in the gym for like 6 hours. So.
Yeah, most of it coaching.
But yeah, like what are the effects that we have for the rest of our day, or that we can expect? You know, maybe some people don't even recognize it, right?
For sure. Me personally, I'm just sore all the time. I'm never not sore. Everything hurts and I'm dying.
Those are facts. Those are facts.
In all seriousness, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do this job if I didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't do CrossFit, it would be much harder to coach CrossFit. And I know that's like a no-brainer, but the light bulb doesn't really hit you until you start coaching CrossFit and you're like, wow, I have to do these movements slow enough so that people see different parts of my body move so that they can try and emulate that. And like doing a slow kipping pull up is way harder than just 3, 2, 1, go. I have 21 kipping pull ups to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At what point were you able to not only do slow movements but make them look so sexy?
It was right after I got done with my training from Thunder, from Down Under, and no, just kidding.
No, for those who have been in a class with me and Keith, I call him the sexiest coach in CrossFit because somehow he is able to do progressions and movements in slow motion on purpose. Some of us do it in slow motion because that's just as fast as our body moves, but he is able to do it in a way that I still can't comprehend, and I think it's pretty fantastic. But yeah, man, it's a little inside joke there between us. Um, yeah, man, definitely. I mean, going back to what you said about being sore all the time, that is kind of one of those things that I have seen specifically in my household. You
Mhm.
know, me, my wife, and even my daughter will be sore for a few days, but it's kind of like a good thing. You know, it's not the same kind of soreness you get when you do, for example, a Murph, right? When you do
Mhm.
Murph and you're sore for a week or a week and a half after, um, you know, I'm not going to name any names, but when somebody insinuates you do 1,700 lunges or a mile of lunges and you're sore for like 2 weeks after,
Yeah.
that kind of soreness is not very welcome.
Yeah. There's a point where it's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a point where this is no longer effective and we are just destroying our bodies.
But is it, you know, I think that is a good kind of topic for us. Like, what level of soreness should we expect? Because I know that back in the day when we were doing bro sessions and it was just, you know, back and biceps, leg day, et cetera, the sorer you got, the more you believed you got work done, right? And in this case, we're practicing the, you know, the sport of fitness, and we're trying to practice longevity. So you know, how should the athletes approach soreness from a day-to-day perspective? Those other 23 hours are crucial. We got to work, we got to take care of our kids, etc. Like, if they are really really sore, should they skip a day? Should they come in and dial it down, or should they just keep working harder?
That answer is going to differ athlete to athlete because some of us have different goals, some of us have different bodies, some of us have different.
I think all of us have different bodies.
Most of us do. My body is very much the same as like a 90-year-old woman. Just
No, you did.
brittle bird bones.
I'm 10 years older than you, man.
Yes, I've been training since I was 4, brother. So my bones are 30 years older than you. Oh man. No, but in all seriousness, it is going to differ athlete to athlete and what your goals are. If you're somebody who's trying to compete at the top of our sport, you almost can't be too sore. It becomes a question of frequency. How often are you super, super sore to the point where you're moving and you can feel how sore you are? If that's happening 3, 4, 5 days a week, then you're probably overtraining. If that's happening and you're just a member of your local CrossFit affiliate, you're not trying to compete or anything, you are definitely overtraining. If you're sore to the movement, like you extend your elbow and your triceps are just screaming at you because they're so sore, you need a day off.
Okay.
Most of us that are your everyday member at a CrossFit affiliate, we should be sore to the touch. So when you touch your muscles, you can be like, "Ooh, that's sore. Ooh, that's sore." You're foam rolling, and you're like, "Oh, that's sore." If you're sore to the movement, like you're extending your leg and you feel like your quads are just tearing apart off of the bone, it's probably time for a rest day, or at least to go a little bit easier than you plan on going in that workout. It's okay to show up to the gym and scale a workout that you know you can do RX, but just use it as more of an active recovery style of workout rather than like going hard.
Yeah, and in most cases, we should be sore enough where, or at least for me, like I like to be sore enough where I can come back the next day, and when I do the workout, the soreness from the previous day goes away. That movement kind of turns into like a recovery because we're not working the same muscles every single day.
Mhm.
There are some days where I may go a little bit hard. I mean, this month we have squat endurance and 20 rep back squats at a heavy weight. They can get you sore for a couple of days, but for the most part, doing functional movements like we do and being able to come in the next day, that's kind of the consistency we always talk about. That soreness won't last long if you are coming in on a daily basis and doing the right or hitting the right stimulus in the workouts.
And that's what it is. It's really how hard are you going during these workouts? If it's that old school train of thinking where it's just like I need to be as sore as possible every single workout, then yeah, you're probably overtraining. If you are just training enough to make sure that you are sore, i.e., getting the stimulus that you just mentioned, then you should be able to train several days in a row before needing a recovery day or a rest day.
Yeah, my rule of thumb that I always tell athletes when they tell me that they're too sore or feeling sore is I always tell them just make sure that you're not going to be so sore you can't come back the next day.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then that's a situation where you're taking a step backwards, and that's not what we're trying to do. Let's talk a little bit about going back to the other 23 hours in the day, right? I've seen a huge shift in, and I can speak from her perspective because she's my daughter. My 9-year old has seen huge effects from doing CrossFit, and I saw them in myself, but it's even more exaggerated when I see it in her.
Mhm.
Right, 9 years old when she started, she was 8, and she was having confidence issues. She might have even dealt with a little bit of bullying in school, kids, making fun of her or whatnot. And the turnaround that she has had in herself, the confidence boost that she has had from being in the gym, from being around other people like her. When she's around Zoe, when she's around Ellie, when she's around Claire, like she's in her zone, she's in her atmosphere, and that has really spread out. I saw her yesterday at her first cheerleading game. She was cheering, and I could just see the confidence in her. Like she's a different person, and I completely attribute it to what she's getting out of CrossFit. The same for my wife. My wife has a different pep in her step, so to speak,
Yeah.
since she started doing CrossFit. There's a confidence boost that you get when you know that at one point you couldn't get a full depth squat and now you can, when you didn't know what a power clean was and now you do cleans. Like there is a positive effect, and that just bleeds out into everything else you do. When you come to the gym and you do a hard workout and then you go to work and you come across something that may seem like it's going to be too tough of a task or it's going to really take you a long time, you already have that I don't want to say confidence, but the ability to look at that problem and say, this is not a big deal.
Hmm.
It's not a big deal. If I did snatches in the workout and then I did pull-ups or bar muscle ups or whatever it was, this is nothing. Sending out 100 emails in an hour, I got this.
Hmm.
That positive practice every single day is really huge, and it really extends out to everything else you're doing. Um, for me personally, like I think I've talked about this, right? Like leaving my job and all that. The confidence that I've gotten out of CrossFit is probably more than most people get. but yeah, man, I mean, it's it's a life-changing thing, which is what CrossFit's goal is, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to change people's lives for the better, to create more longevity, to create habits that we can build. And this is the first time that I've ever done any sort of fitness routine more than a few months at a time, and I'm not thinking about stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. No, I'll be doing this the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, right? We can do this the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Like when I was going to the Gold's Gym back in Miami and just lifting heavy weights, after a few weeks, it just got so boring and it
Mhm.
was so mundane. And then runners, like, how many times can you run the same loop or run the same track before you start saying, I'm tired of looking at that same tree. I'm tired of seeing that same, stump in the ground or whatever it may be. I'm tired of that same dog barking at me. Like,
Yeah, about 16 years is being a former track runner. It's about 16 years. That's the cap.
it's boring. Well, I mean, in that case, you're a competitive runner though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there's always something else that you're chasing. But when you're just a long distance runner or someone who's trying to do like a 5K every day, stuff like that, it gets really boring, man.
Mm,
It gets really boring, which our programming is not boring.
yeah.
It may not be the best programming, but it certainly is
Here we
not
go
boring.
again. No. Yeah, to that point, I think Jessica, your wife, is the prime example of seeing difficult differently. I love that quote because it expresses so much about the mental side of what we do in CrossFit. Like we're literally simulating stress so that we can handle the stress of our regular lives better, right?
Agreed.
And she was one of those people that I think um, not only was uninterested, but then if she did start fitness, it probably wouldn't have been CrossFit. Excuse me. Just because of the illusion of what a CrossFitter is. You know what I mean? Like if you hadn't been in her life and she did get into fitness, it probably still wouldn't have been CrossFit just because of thinking that it's too hard. That's not really for me. I don't want to be a professional athlete, so I don't need that or something like that. Not really realizing that you can get all the same benefits that you get from that spin class or that bodybuilding program, and even more, you can still get it from CrossFit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just seeing the effects on people's faces. I'm gonna shout out one of the athletes from CrossFit Afterburn, Jenica Grieve. She's been in town for a few months. She signed up for one of our weight loss challenges, and she has been as consistent as they come. She's been coming to the gym every day, and she told me like, oh, I don't think I'm really actually doing well. I would really like to check my in-body scan again and see where I'm at. And I said, sure, let's do it. I had 100% confidence that she got gains that she didn't think she was.
Mm.
And it's hard to see those gains when we look at ourselves in the mirror every day. But she did her in-body scan. She dropped like 4% body fat, gained like 4 or 5 pounds of muscle, and her face immediately started glowing.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she saw the in-body scan, she was like, this is amazing. This is what I needed. The next day she shows up, her hair's done, she got her nails done.
She was feeling herself,
great.
yeah.
And now I'm seeing her walk in every day. She's got a smile ear to ear. She knows without a shadow of a doubt that what she's been doing has been pushing the needle, which is what we all want, what we all expect, even though I'm not big on expectations, but that is what the whole purpose is, right? We come into CrossFit and that's what we're looking for. I try to steer people away from, the fat loss and the getting fitter part. I still think CrossFit is a mental game. I think it's a mental health prescription, and our bodies just happen to get fit along the way because the sanity that a lot of us get from this. And I've had numerous athletes tell me, I do this because I have to deal with my life. So I just want 1 hour where I can get away from everything else. Mm-hmm. But being able to deal with everything else gets easier when you're doing these hard things. Another athlete that I'm really proud of, Danny Estepa, he came into our gym, and man, this guy, he is such I don't know how to say it, a bright spot for us. He's a beam of light when he walks in the gym. He came to us. He was at one point close to 700 pounds. Mm. He has gotten himself down below 500 pounds. And he came to me and said straight up, Frankie, I know that I can burn calories dancing in my living room. I don't want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to be somewhere where I'm welcome. I want to be in a community. And man, I'll tell you, he is the biggest part of our community. he comes in and everybody wants to chat with him. Everybody wants to hang out with him. Everybody wants to be around him because he's proving exactly what happens when you're consistent. He's already dropped 200 plus pounds. Yesterday, for the first time ever, he got jump ropes. I said, have you ever done a jump rope? Nope. And he's still 400 plus pounds. I said, all right, if you're willing to try, I'm willing to coach you. And we got it. And he got 7 in a row. And he messaged me after and he was like, man, thank you so much for not giving up on me. And I said, giving up on you? Giving up isn't an option. Giving up is not an option. Even if you hadn't gotten a jump rope, I'd still applaud you because you gave the effort. You tried. You put the intention of getting a jump rope, which is something not only is it difficult for you because of your size, it's difficult because you've never done it before. And he was willing to put himself out there and he got them. And I'm so proud of him, man. Like, we have so many athletes like this. And again, when he left the gym, he went home. He was, as happy as can be. I'm sure he went to work and killed it at work. He probably slept better that night. Like, all these endorphins in your body are just skyrocketing when you do something like that. And it happens all the time when you get your first ring muscle up, when you get, your first, 10 unbroken push-ups, whatever it may be. Each of these achievements, it doesn't just unlock the achievement itself. It unlocks so much more in us.
Yeah.
Once we leave the gym, you have that positivity. So it's
I
a beautiful
definitely
thing to
think
watch.
that's the word, right? Like, is achievement, that sense of achievement. Like, yeah, you can dance butt naked in your living room and burn some calories, but you're not going to get that same sense of achievement. You know what I mean? You're probably still going to have a lot of fun, but you're not going to have that same sense of accomplishment where you're like, oh, I actually did this. This is the work that I'm doing. This is, excuse me, this is actually a difficult thing that I am struggling with and overcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that we haven't talked about is those people that struggle with coming to the gym consistently, right? In order to get these positive effects, consistency is key. I just had a Keith moment, sorry, but consistency is key. We've talked about that a lot, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that I have found that is really helpful, and I see a lot of my athletes do this at the gym, which I really like. They go ahead and they sign into the class at the beginning of the week. They hold themselves accountable that way.
Yeah.
I'll come in on a Thursday and I'll see somebody at 4 p.m. I'll come in at 5 a.m. and I'll see somebody at 4 p.m. and is already signed in.
Yeah.
They're committing themselves to showing up and being at the gym. And I think that's such a crucial thing, not just developing a habit, but keeping yourself accountable to it. You start to see those achievements and you start to realize how positive it is on your life, and then it just snowballs, right? And you start coming in, you start being more consistent. So huge round of applause to all those athletes who do come in every single day. This morning, Kyle and Megan over at my gym, husband and wife, they are phenomenal. And I told them, I really applaud you guys because you show up every day. And if you can't show up in the morning, you show up in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's huge. I mean, if they're not in town, they obviously can't come in, but every day that they can, they come in and they've seen the positive effects in their life.
For sure.
And I just keep saying names because they just keep popping up in my head, but it's what we're looking for, right? It's what we're striving for. The intention should be to be the best version of yourself. And in order to do that, you need to practice every single day, practice these good habits. And I think getting a good workout in is a big part of that.
For sure. Also, like, creating that environment to help you succeed definitely is going to be one of the things that not only moves the needle, but also keeps you consistent with that, creating that lifestyle. I feel like once you get into CrossFit, once you become a CrossFitter, your life becomes a CrossFitter's life. You know what I mean? Like, we don't just go to the gym for an hour and work out and then come home and take a shower and eat whatever we want, crush a bowl of ice cream or something like that. Like, some of us do. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. What I am saying though, is that, like, after class, you're probably talking to one of your family fellow, Jesus Christ, I can't speak. probably talking to one of your fellow box mates about like recovery, or you'll see somebody foam rolling and you'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. Or you'll see somebody with a lacrosse ball and be like, that is a really weird spot to put a lacrosse ball. What are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm working my psoas right now. And you're like, I'm psoas too. So, so you go
So
grab
as hell.
so you go grab a lacrosse ball. You know what I mean? Like the things in your environment become more about having a trainer's lifestyle than it does about just getting in a workout. And I mean, obviously that's not 100% true for everybody, but I feel like the vast majority of CrossFitters, they adopt the lifestyle, and that's what connects us all together. Like that's what really connects us as a community, is because I can see somebody out in Publix with no bulls on, and I'm like, that's my people right there, you know. Or see somebody with a Mayhem T-shirt on, or see you come in with some Go Rucks on, and I'm like, what? Go Ruck, drop some new shoes, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's more than just that 1 hour that you're in class. It turns into, I know it's like super cliche, but it turns into a lifestyle. You know, you start paying attention to other things during that other 23 hours.
Absolutely, man. And you know, the support system is huge as well. You know, I remember last year, an athlete at Groveland, David Ayers, came to us and he was like, listen, man, I have a goal. I want to make it to the SWAT. I have the SWAT test that I got to take, and I need my fitness level to increase. And he was doing 2-a-days, many days. And all the coaches kind of guided him through and said, all right, listen, you're going to do this workout in the morning. If you're going to come in the afternoon, go through this workout. We want you to make sure you're getting the right stimulus, you know, pay attention. And the entire community, little by little, started finding out, and we were all pushing for him, you know, and he got it.
Yeah.
He got it. He passed with flying colors, and he was so excited. He messaged us and he's like, I just want you guys to know I did it. Thank you so much. Like, the entire community is behind you on this. Yeah. It's not just, oh, you know, I'm trying to go for a promotion at work. No, you're trying to go for a promotion at work. We all want you to get that promotion.
Yeah.
And how are you going to get that promotion? You're going to do hard things.
Yeah.
You're going to come in, you're going to bust your ass. You're going to do everything you possibly can here. And that's going to trickle down to your outside life, and you're going to get that promotion. And when you get that promotion, we're all going to applaud you. And it's not just, oh, you did a PR today with weight. No, you did a PR in your life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know life who it PRs. Was, but there was an athlete in one of the life classes that you mentioned one time that her goal was, you know, to be able to get her groceries into her car without help. Mm-hmm. And she was able to get that. Like, these are real things that real people do. Mm-hmm. You know, this is not Olympic weightlifting where we're on a stage and this is the only thing we do because we're on automatic. We just wake up, lift, repeat, wake up, lift, repeat. We have lives. Mm-hmm. Our athletes all have lives, and those 23 hours matter. You know, when you start seeing the benefits of your sleep, for example, you sleep better. I sleep better when I work out 100%. I don't work out as much as I used to because soreness is real. Facts. But when I do work out, I sleep so much better, man. And you know, I keep track of that. When I eat healthier, I feel better. When I'm coaching versus when I'm not coaching, I feel better. You know, being active and moving is a huge thing for everyone. You know, if you follow any entrepreneurs online who are podcasters or trying to teach people how to have the best version of their lives, how to be rich, et cetera, they all work out.
Yeah.
They all swear by being in the gym every day, and most of them do it early in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Because
4 or 5 a.m.
Because it's tackling that hard task before your day starts. Yeah. You know, if you get something done first thing in the morning, the rest of your day is going to go very different. You know. So, yeah, man, I think everybody for the most part is on that same wavelength like we talked about. You know, if you've adopted that lifestyle, you're a CrossFitter.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's probably the narrative that we should start pushing a little bit more as CrossFitters, not just coaches, not just HQ, just like when we talk to people, it's like this CrossFit thing that we're so interested in that we can't shut up about is not just a workout. It's not just 60 minutes with somebody yelling at you to go faster. Like, all of my friends do CrossFit. Like we like you said, we all support each other. That David Ayers, he put in our Chalk Pro community group message that he passed. I had no idea what he was talking about, but I was gassed, bro. I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I don't know what it
Yeah,
was, but I'm so glad that you got it." Like
absolutely.
just because he's a part of my tribe, it was like, yes, like it's almost like we did this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I got to win.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's how I think it happens at every affiliate, but obviously it's so much more special at Sweat Factory, right? Because
Absolutely.
that's where we're at. All right, brother. I think this is a good one. I don't have anything else. Do you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, leave us a review.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.